So, if you are a health conscious person, I would recommend not moving to Montana. I live in Missoula, and everybody here in Missoula thinks that they're just the greatest place on earth and super progressive. And I find that like the housing is not only is it not, I mean, when housing is not up to code, it means that it's like dangerous for people to live in. All the low income housing or shared housing where I've paid $500 to live somewhere, pretty much most of it was uninhabitable. And, uh, and the thing is, though, cost of rent is crazy. If you haven't bought a house 20, 30 years ago, you can't, you don't have what it takes to pay the rentals, which I guess like landlords are trying. I don't know. It's just, I guess it's like this shamelessly abusive profit thing, because who can afford excuse me these slums that are rented at 5 times its worth. And so, and the thing is, like, I was like, okay, I'll rent these places and I'll just do my healthy practices. And the thing is, like, there is no way to contend with the multiple level toxicity of rentals here. Like, some days I can tune it out better than other days, but like right now, I share a wall with the appliances for this building, and so every minute or so, a loud motor rumbles and makes the whole room echo and vibrate. Because this room, it just like it's an echo chamber for the appliance that is over there, and I have that aluminum foil because I'm trying to deflect smart meters. And I mean, I can barely think, I can barely function, I can barely make sense. And then I talk to people, especially like my new age friends, and they're all like, you just gotta be positive and stuff like that. And they're clearly not under this audio assault of this industrial fan going and this industrial machine going, and just also just the stresses that you engender when you've got like post-traumatic stress disorder and health issues. The people that you end up being around, whether they're supposed to be providers for you or whether they're people you have to engage in like financial commitment, like a roommate or whatever, like you're around some really crummy people, like unethical people, abusive people. Like the poorer and sicker you are, the lower of a caliber of person you have to contend with. And maybe that is the case with the elites. I mean, clearly, with what we're seeing in the news and in the alternative news about like Pizzagate and human trafficking, I mean, clearly the elites are evil. But I just I never was like super ambitious because I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing and try to be a good person. And what I'm realizing is, it's like you can't just try to be a good person and have a decent life, because I feel like it's a deliberate assault on the poor when low income housing is not kept up to code, and city inspectors don't look into it, don't keep buildings up to code, and when advocacy groups like human rights or HUD, like federal groups, don't do anything about this, like where they're all just about dotting I's and crossing T's rather than legitimate issues, like systemic practices that, like, And the thing is, just because people aren't dying in like a second, so it's a slow kill thing. If you're a low income renter in places like Missoula, in places like Montana, you are a target for slow kill. And that's what, when a city or a state or a government does not keep housing or whatever, the workplace up to code, it's basically targeting those unfortunate people who have to uh, rely on the government for protection. So the government is negligent, whether it's the local, state, or federal, and by virtue of neglecting its duty to hold landlords and whatever accountable, it's like the government is complicit in the slow kill of low income people. And the mentality of today, the liberal mentality is, humans are a cancer on the planet, and why should we let you live, because you're you're harming the planet. The thing is, the very liberals who are touting this belief, they have cars, they're having kids. You know who the low income people are? Like the really low income people, such as myself, they've never owned a car. They don't drive. They don't have kids because they're not healthy enough. They don't have enough like mindset to cope with what that would entail, you know. And I'm just really frustrated with like the progressive liberal movement, because it's paying all this lip service to ideals, and it's like ignoring the elephant in the room, which are the adults that are right in front of them, perhaps family or friends that need help, and instead, it's just all the talk. But my point is that just because maybe you're low income too, and maybe you thought it was no big deal to just you just want to live your life and not do a whole lot, but it seems clear to me that we're not even allowed to do that. That this like mass irresponsibility of keeping places up to code, which makes you sick when you're a tenant in a place that's not kept up to code. Like I feel like it's a deliberate annihilation of an entire demographic. And who's this demographic? It's like low income people, it's single people, it's ill people, it's people with low self-esteem, it's people without leverage or resources. And I mean, it's just a fact. And people will poo-poo my theory, but it's, I'm sure if we look at statistics and the thing is, it's my understanding that when people die early, the government gets to harvest their trust account. So although there's like money that's attributed to each person's birth certificate, so it is profitable. I theorize for a city to have people die soon, and it's profitable for the government to have people die soon, like federal and probably state. They probably make money the more untimely early deaths that they get to happen. And I know this is like kind of a shocking notion, but I mean, just look around at the underprivileged and what they have to deal with. And it's a uncomfortable thing to do, and it's like I'm not happy about having to disclose my economic situation, but it's just very upsetting. And and it's a fact. And I'm just tired of progressive liberals talking about whatever special interest poster child of the month is. The thing is that very poster child of the month, or that category of people, are also dealing with what I'm talking about. And I think that if a progressive liberal is really caring, they need to talk about the elderly homeless, or the mentally ill homeless, or the middle-aged, single female, unmarried, homeless, because that is not what people want to talk about. Everybody wants to talk about other things. What's coming to your mind right now? That's what everybody's talking about, because it's like there's some like brain trigger thing that we've been programmed into. But I don't think those things that is the hot topic now. I don't think that is the solution. I don't think that's going to make the world a better place. I think like respecting everybody makes the world a better place, not just certain demographics. So, anyways, thanks for watching.